998-7263 or stop by the shop on the west side of the square in downtown Red Oak.
Today's best country, Kcsi 95.3.
29 minutes before 11 o'clock, 71 degrees at our studios here on the east side of Red Oak, mostly overcast skies. And it's time for us to get an update on what's happening with Faith Community Church in Red Oak. And Pastor Dave McDonald's here this morning again. Pastor, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Jerry.
Pretty nice morning out there. We just had a little rain, but
it would be nice. We were out picking corn the other morning, and you can still see cracks in the ground. The ears are coming up kind of nicely, but we could stand a good rain.
And we'll get it.
We will. That's a beautiful thing about here. You put the seed in the ground, but you got to leave the results in God's hands.
Did you get your corn all done?
Well, we did a lot. We actually do it for 3 different people, myself, my wife, and my daughters, who come and shop at Hotel McDonald's and help themselves to paper towels, toilet paper, corn, meat, whatever's available. So I'm not quite sure if we've got enough to feed the masses yet.
Are there certain hours for this, or can we just come whenever?
It's a 24/7 deal.
I see. Whenever they're in the neighborhood, just...
That's right. In fact, my oldest chewed me out because we were running low on toilet paper, and she reminded me that when we're low, she's low. So I apologized and went out and bought more.
I would think a good father would do better than that.
You would
That's
think
right.
so, wouldn't you?
I'll be on her side. I think.
Thanks a lot.
Thinks she's absolutely right.
She is.
Well, Vacation Bible School has come and gone to some extent. Hopefully it goes on for a long time with lingering, lasting, eternal effects. But
yes,
the programs themselves are over, and I understand from what Dan Bullington told me this morning that you're probably looking for a check somewhere.
Well, if you recall your generous offer last week, we had to set a goal. Part of our Vacation Bible School every year is we have the boys compete with the girls in bringing in offering loose change, sometimes paper money, sometimes checks. And the winning team gets an award, but it's always toward a missions project. This year, it was toward the country of Mongolia, which is north of China, and Russia. And what was happening there is they're building some children education centers. So we had set a goal for $3,000. If we raised the $3,000, I would kiss a pig. What we decided to do to further incentivize the kids, we said if we raise $3,250, Pastor Brett will kiss a pig, and $3,500, Melissa McDonald, my daughter, who also ran the Vacation Bible School, would kiss a pig. And then some kind radio DJ said if you raise $4,000, you will give a $500 check. Well, we raised $4,974.33.
It's tremendous.
It's unbelievable. Our closing program was Sunday at 1 o'clock. And so the moment we took the last offering, Boys Against the Girls, I was busy in the background with a great crew of volunteer counters trying to figure out the total. So by 1:30, within a half hour, and we've never counted the money that fast before, we could get a total to the people that were there because we'd had a 10 o'clock service, we had a barbecue, and we had a bazillion people there. Then we had the program. So I'm getting it all together. I'm getting on the computer. I'm putting it on an adding machine. I'm figuring it out so I can get it to the PowerPoint people so we can announce it. And the tears are just rolling down my cheek because as you're adding it up, you're just realizing what an incredible miracle that was. The tears might have also been because I knew I had to kiss something in a little bit, but I don't think so. I think the tears were all about knowing this is going overseas for the work of Christ.
So the pig kissing has taken place then?
The pig kissing has taken place. And what was funny, we also decided, because we had our groups divided into age groups, grades 1 and 2, 3 and 4, kindergarten, pre-K, and grades 5 and 6. We said the group that brings the most friend can pick any adult at random to also kiss a pig. So Mr. Brad Black was brought into the equation, and so myself and Brad, we were the first 2 to kiss a pig, then Pastor Brett, and then Melissa. And I've known my daughter now for 32 years, and the look on her face as I was holding that pig in front of her, I'd already done my smacking. And Angie McKee, of course, came up and put a towel around us and put lipstick on us, nice bright red ruby lipstick. I don't know why she did that. So I hold the pig up, and you should have seen the look on Melissa's face. She had this look like, Dad, why did I have this idea in the first place? What have I got myself into? Is there any way I can get out of this?
What's the status of the pig at this point?
Well, I'll tell you, we had 2 pigs. One was, I think, Petunia, and the other was Stinky. So Melissa and I got to kiss Stinky. They're okay, I think, but I don't know.
Well, that's a tremendous statement for the young people and for their enthusiasm and they'll remember that for the rest of their lives.
Well, they will. And, of course, it's all about missions. It's all about, even though we love reaching our boys and girls in the community, and a big thank you to every relative and loved one who trusts us with their children. We do not take that lightly. Every worker, every volunteer has to go through our safe training. We do a background check on them. The same person that drops the child off needs to pick them up whenever possible. We just try to be so safe, it's crazy. But with such a tremendous group and the amazing community of Red Oak, we also want to be about something bigger than we are, and that's where we always bring in the missions focus. So it's tremendous, and that's actually the goal, to build one of those centers is $65,000. So we've raised almost 10% of that. By the time someone adds a check, we're going to be very close to 1% of that goal. So we're very excited about that.
So tell us again how the money will be used in Mongolia.
Well, Mongolia is a fascinating country that for years and years and years, decades, has been probably one of the most poorest nations in the world. And what has happened, the mineral wealth is being discovered. And Mongolia is going through just cataclysmic changes. And what they're finding, one thing that's very common, is that the adults grown up in the country, and you got to understand, from 1st of November to the end of April, it never gets above freezing. So it's a different kind of world up there. And the adults are now realizing their children have a chance for something they've never had, and that's a chance for a better life. So they're passionate about educating their children, everything from the basics to the fundamentals of reading, computer use. And so our denomination, Christian Missionary Alliance, has come in establishing children training center where we do teach them computer skills. We do teach them how to read. We do teach them the basic skills. And for that country, those basic skills would be the equivalent of you and I getting a doctorate. But we make it clear, now we're going to do this with a bibliocentric view in mind. So we will be telling stories of Scripture and his story, history. And so we've made that clear. And the government there is wide open. Please come and do it. We're not going in under any pretense. And so these education centers around the capital are just beginning to pop up, and they're finding they can't put them up fast enough.
Pastor Dave McDonald from Faith Community Church North on 8th Street in Red Oak with us this morning, and we're reviewing a little bit about Vacation Bible School, which was held last week, which was held the week after the challenge was held, which was the week before that, which was the week after something else that was held, which was
the week after taking 23 kids to St. Louis to the Life Conference.
That's right.
Yeah.
All of which is just before the fall ministry gets started immediately.
Well, we don't like to let grass grow up around our feet.
How many young people came through Faith Community during Vacation Bible School?
Jerry, every year we do a summary, and I didn't get that summary yet, but I'm going to guess. And this was unusual because we started on a Wednesday and ended on a Sunday afternoon. We'd never done that before, and we wondered what will a Friday, Saturday night VBS with the Sunday wrap-up do, because that's a weekend in August. I would say we probably saw 145 kids come at least once. Our average attendance was right about 95 to 100. A couple nights we were over 100. First night we were at 91. And that's a little below what we've seen when we did it in July. We tended to average there in the 120s. But there was something really fun about doing it, something really fun about seeing like Pastor Ricky over at Hope for Life finishing up his service and bring him and his family and his kids over to join us for the barbecue and then be a part of the closing program. So what I really liked about it is it felt really had a more of a community cooperation with the church's feel to it, and so that kind of made it fun.
Lots of volunteers from Faith Community had to have been involved to make that happen.
We had volunteers. We use our teenagers. We obviously don't use them in areas where they ought not to be used, but we had easily 75 to 80 volunteers. In fact, our teens ran the music with Connie's help. We had volunteers, everything from the fantastic people who would make the meal a couple of hours early so the crew could come and eat before Vacation Bible School gets started. And as always the case, we have boys and girls show up that find out there's food, and they're more than welcome to come and have a bite with us. And so, yeah, the volunteer crew was unbelievable.
Thanks to you and to your entire staff and personnel and volunteers and parents and people that make that opportunity available for the Red Oak community in the surrounding area.
Well, you are welcome. And again, a pastor is as good as his people. So I am a fantastic pastor, but that is because of the people I have. They are amazing.
Pastor Dave McDonald from Faith Community Church, north on 8th in Red Oak. Now, the VBS programs have been completed. Hopefully, the impact on your students will go on for years and years to come. But that doesn't mean that the activities are over. And let's talk momentarily, if we could, about your regular Sunday activities that are ongoing.
Sure. We have 2 Sunday services every week, one at 9 o'clock. The second and 10:45. The order of the services are pretty much identical. A little bit of a change second service. We tend to have a smaller second service, maybe between 60 to 80 people. So that gives it a little bit more of a cozier family feel. So we'll take advantage of that. But so our 10:45 is almost exactly like our 9 o'clock, which is usually a full service. There's always room for more, but it's full. And during 10:45, while we're doing the second service, is when we also offer our Sunday school for all ages up through and including adults. So during that 10:45 to noon time, you'll see activity throughout all of our building as people come both for class or for church service.
Financial Peace University is soon going to be upon us. Tell us what you'd like for our listeners to know about that and how they could be involved and what they might get out of it if they were.
Well, I'm very passionate about helping folks get to the place where they can, what I just say in a real quick sentence is they can get to the place where they tell their money what to do. I just read a report a few weeks ago that the typical college graduate is graduating with over $45,000 in school loans. Now imagine you and I starting out in life in our early 20s with that kind of a debt. And then, of course, we live in an era where, great-grandma and grandpa, they saved up and they bought. Grandma and grandpa probably put a mortgage on their house, which is not unwise because a house is appreciating and it's an investment. Well, mom and dad come around and they start realizing there are things we don't have to wait on. So suddenly you could get the car you wanted and buy it on time. You wrap around to the generation today and everything can be put on a card. Everything can be bought on time. And I'm not going to say I'm against credit cards or any of that is evil. I just know that when we get to the place where our money controls our clock, our calendar, our priorities, our lives, something's wrong. Now, money's not evil. Money's just money. You can use it for evil purposes. You can use it for good purposes. You can put it in a shoebox or pad your mattress. But how you use it is everything. Financial Peace University helps you set up a system. If you choose to do it, it's like anything else, it's up to you. 80% of handling finances is mental. It's not how much money you make. We will set up a system with you through Dave Ramsey's organization that'll help you begin immediately changing your finances. Jerry, I was there 9 years ago, and my finances were an absolute disaster. I'd been pastor here for about 8 years. I had daughters going into college. We had some major family emergencies. Life had just happened, and I never had any kind of place to go when emergencies hit except to go to the credit card. That's all I had. And it was a slow journey. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And it was a slow journey to get away from that to the place where today, when something happens and I suddenly need extra funds because an emergency happens, it's no longer an emergency. I have the funds set aside. And it's funny how an emergency is not an emergency when you're prepared for it. You can still have accidents and unforeseen things, but the impact's not quite as great when you already have the funds ready, waiting for you, so you can do that. And so that's Financial Peace University, helping people get some financial tools. And if you're like me, you folks out there, you just can't be as dumb as I was. You will not take the gold medal from me. I've stood on the platform on the highest level. They played the national anthem, the flag went up, and it was clear that I was a gold medal worst financial manager in the world. So you cannot beat me. And if I can get out of this mess, you can too. But it just starts with little steps, and instead of being so intimidated by it all or convinced it's something kind of cultic and odd, or we're going to suddenly get into your personal finances or ask strange things from you, we don't. I never know who makes what. I never know what decisions people make. We just lay out the tools. We work together on it for 9 weeks. And I have heard story after story of how people's lives and how they handle finances is changing.
So if they would like to learn more about and or enroll in the Financial Peace University, what do they need to do to be able to do that?
Well, several ways you can do it. You can first of all call the church at 623-3472 and just say, sign me up. We do sell the kit. You're required to purchase a kit. It's one kit per couple if you come as a married couple or as a couple, and that's $99, and that's all you do. And then you need to show up from the start, which will be Tuesday night starting August 27th. and we will go through the last Tuesday, or the second to last Tuesday night in October. And the classes are about, we start at 7, we're done, you're easily out the door by 15 to 9. And that's all you have to do. You can also go on our church website, which is redoakfaith.org. That's redoakfaith.org. And you'll see information there. You can sign up through there. You can go on the Dave Ramsey National website. We're listed there on his site, and you can register through there.
Open to anybody from anywhere.
Anybody from everywhere. We just require that. And by the way, Jerry, I've had some people showing interest who, quite frankly, have managed their finances well. Had they not taken FPU, I don't know if their life would have changed much. But they're still learning the disciplines, and it's helping them start to pass it on to their children and starting to pass on a new tone. So I ought to, because I started in such a desperate time and actually began making the changes before I discovered Financial Peace University. I don't want to make it sound like you have to be desperate at the end of your rope and a lousy money manager. You can just be Joe Average that some weeks the check doesn't come soon enough, but you're doing your best and you're working your extra jobs and you're trying to outfit your children well and you're trying to be wise. FPU is also for you. So it's for anyone, any life situation.
Telephone number at the church is
623-3472. And you can call and say that. Or if you just want more information, you can do that, and we'll get a hold of you. You can also go on the website. We have our links to our own emails. If you want to write to me at pastordave@redoakfaith.org or whatever you want, we will talk to you about it. Again, it's low level in that we're going to ask you to make some decisions, but it's up to you whether you make them or not, and we're never going to follow up. We're not going to know your business. That's between you and God, but we are going to give you the tools. So if you want to make a change, you can.
very good. All right, so what's ahead now for Faith Community?
Well, hard to believe, Jerry, but rumor has it August is already underway. And if my calendar memory serves me correct, September follows August. And that means school's going to be starting for a lot of our kids in, a week from this Wednesday? Is that next Wednesday, the 15th? Goodness sakes. So as
A week from today.
Yeah, it's today, whatever. So as school launches, so do our fall programs, and we will be planning on September 11th on Wednesday night to do our regular programming, which includes our jump program, which is up through grades 4. And we just have a terrific volunteer. Pastor Brett runs that, and it's just fun to watch. And he is so creative. He doesn't know how to teach a Bible study normally. So he will teach truths from Scripture in a way that the kids can immediately connect to it. We have what we call our Shout program, which is for grades 5 and 6. We learned a few years ago, Jerry, that by the time a young person hits grades 5, they are facing the kind of world that you and I probably faced when we were seniors in high school. And so we've tweaked how we minister to them. They are their own group, and they do their own special things. Go out and serve at nursing homes. They do care packages to give away to homeless people when you're driving in Omaha and they reach their hands out. They're very actively involved with doing that, and we have some of our teens helping. So Shout, grades 5 and 6. Then we have what we call Exit. We always want the young people, junior and senior high, to know there's always a place you can exit to from the busyness of life that is safe. You're going to be accepted for who you are. And so we just have a blast with our junior and senior high, and meets down in our Family Life Center. And so Wednesday night, we will be hopping from top to bottom, volunteers galore, young people of all ages, just loving life and helping kids traverse the journey of childhood and teen years in this culture.
So those Wednesday night programs will begin when?
They will begin September 11th. That'll be the second Wednesday in September. Those will be the launches. We'll be sending out lots of information. And if you went to VBS, we've got your name and address. We'll be sending information out to you on that too. Of course, if you have your own church home, we encourage you to support that ministry. Or if you don't have a ministry of that age and you want to come and benefit with what we do and then go back and take that energy to your church, we love doing that too.
Very good. So again, if they'd like more information about the Wednesday night programs, just go to your website, call the church building.
Right. RedOakFaith.org is our website. The church is 623-3472, and we'll get you any information you want to know.
And as we have, and I think it's important that we continue to do that, emphasized in the past, extreme care is taken to provide the safety and security of the students that come to any of your programs.
You know, Jerry, I've been in the ministry for over 30 years, and I have not liked how we've had to rethink ourselves. We have an alarm system at the church because we were broken in enough times. We've had to create background checks. We've had, well, not create, but take advantage of the organizations that do that better than we do. We have a system now, if you drop your baby off Sunday morning, there's something put on the back of your little baby that you also have. Only you can pick that little baby up. We have a very well-staffed nursery and for those grades. So all these things that you and I never had to think about. You just come to church, you could get dropped off, go and picked up. We are just extra cautious and careful. We consider when someone trusts us with one of their children, they could hand us $1 million instead, and it wouldn't mean as much. Nothing's more precious than a kid. So we fight hard. We are careful. Some of our volunteers are volunteers in limited ways because they want to serve God, and we want them to do that. But if they're going to start having a teaching capacity or authority over children, then we have a system in place that it's not for only the very good, but it's for those that can do it. Jerry, we won't even let a little boy or little girl go to the restroom without 2 adults going with them. And one stands outside and one goes with them. It's always proper, and like if it's a lady teacher, we hold the bathroom door open. The way the bathroom's designed, it's still private for the little guy to go and take care of business, but we are that crazy about it. When we are done with the room, we lock the door. Every one of our doors has a window that you can look into that room on. So we are crazy careful because it's a bigger building and we want to make sure we can't be everywhere, but we can certainly put systems in place to make sure we know what's going on.
Again, Pastor Dave McDonald from Faith Community Church in Red Oak North on 8th Street here in the west side of 8th Street on the top of the hill up there. If you've not been there, would love to welcome you to come by sometime. What would be your prayer, Pastor Dave, that if people, let's say basically non-churched people looking for something to add meaning and relevance to their life were to come to Faith Community Church, what would it be your prayer that they go away from Faith Community Church feeling?
Well, Jerry, ultimately, my desire is that everyone would have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. It's a decision every person has to make themselves. You can come from a good family. You can have a good last name, and those are blessings. You can have a family system that's been very involved in church. Those are all fantastic things. But the relationship with Christ is something only you can do. No one can do it for you. That's my ultimate goal. As we work toward that, knowing that everyone is free to choose what they're going to do, we want to make it clear this is what it looks like to follow Christ. So we want Faith Community to be a safe place, a place where imperfect people can come, feel accepted the way they are, come with their problems. We welcome people who have lifestyle decisions we don't agree with, because I believe it's possible to not approve of someone's choice and still accept them. I don't buy the cultural argument. If you don't approve of a lifestyle, you cannot accept them, therefore you hate them. That's nonsense. My kids growing up, my 3 daughters, there were lots of times I didn't approve with what they were doing, but I always loved and accepted them. So we want people to come through the door and feel the safety of God's presence, His people. If you're impressed with us when you come through the door, you'll get over that in about 3 minutes. And if you last that long, as soon as I stand up, then you'll definitely get over it, because we're just filled with imperfect people worshiping a perfect, incredible, powerful God.
What else would you like for our listeners to know this morning about God or Faith Community Church?
Well, if you're out there, because I've heard more stories lately of some people, and I understand this. I've often thought, what if a neighbor came to me and said, hey, I don't know, I hunt with Bo, and I want you to come look at our group that Bo hunts together, and we want you to experience the fun and excitement of bow hunting and the fellowship. I try to put myself, what would I feel as I walk through the door of a place I'd never been to before, and I'm not even sure I'm going to like bow hunting, and I definitely am not that much of a hunter. I try to think of that when I think of the person coming through the door of the church. And so I want to tell you, if you don't normally go to church, if you're just convinced the roof would fall in if you came through the door, I had someone last week show up, look up at the rafters and say, well, it didn't fall in on me. I want to tell you that Faith Community is for you. You don't have to be perfect to come. You just have to be real. And you'll find God will meet you just where you are.
If they've never been in a church building before, are they welcome?
They are, and we do our best to make it as non-threatening as we can, because I'm amazed at how many adults I encounter who have not set foot in a church, or did when they were children, and through circumstances got way out of the habit. And so to them, church, and perhaps they've even seen someone that says they go to church, and right or wrong, they've maybe judged all churches by that one person or two people, which is kind of like Jerry deciding I'm never going to drink water again because I read a story about someone drowning, so water is dangerous, therefore I'm going to avoid all water. Well, sure, you have examples of people that maybe weren't the best billboard advertising what it's like to go to church, but that's because church is for everyone. And as soon as you open the door to everyone, everyone comes through the door. That means humans. That means imperfect humans. That means hypocrites. That means people trying to get their act together, and that means strong followers. And someone told me not that long ago, I don't go to church because there's too many hypocrites. And I told them quite gently, there's room for another. Join us. Because we all can be phony. So you don't have to be something you're not. Just come as you are. Even if you've never come, give us a try. If you call and tell me you're coming, I'll make sure me or someone is right there at the door waiting for you, so when you walk through the door, you don't feel lost.
I've been to another church years and years and years ago, but it was a different name church than what yours is, and a lot of things happened, and I fell out, got disappointed, quite frankly got hurt, and left that church building, left that church. Will I be welcome at your church, even though I've been to a different church?
You would, Jerry. In fact, it's a funny dynamic, but I find people that have been hurt at church, that is a unique pain, and it hurts deeply. And I can't tell you I understand that, but I've seen it enough in my life to know maybe it's because we trust. Maybe because church is a place we go to and we kind of come a little more open and normal. We're a little more vulnerable. And then people happen and life happens and inconsistency happens and we're wounded, and we do what all of us do when we're wounded. Man, we circle those emotional wagons, we put that wall a couple of layers higher, and we're convinced, hurt me once, your fault. Hurt me twice, my fault. You're not hurting me twice. I understand that as best I can, because I've also, as pastor, been profoundly hurt in places I've ministered to. Not here. That's not the point. If you're looking for a place never to be hurt, I highly recommend a cave in Colorado where all you do is herd goats. As soon as you let another person in your life, you will be hurt. You will be disappointed. And the mythology that church shouldn't be the place where you're hurt, while we're supposed to be the place that welcomes anyone, that's kind of silly. Yes, you will be disappointed at church. I promise you I'll disappoint you. I tell people I make a great first impression, and then once you get to know me, I make a lousy second impression. So don't go there with that. Come as you are. Be careful. Trust slow. Watch, observe. Bible says we can tell people by the fruit. We can see what their lives look like and know, do they really practice what they talk? So just come and check it out. And we have people, we had new folks from VBS there Sunday, and we had an unusual service Sunday, and you could tell that was new to them, and my prayer was, God, may they just feel at home. May they just feel welcome. We're not out scalp hunting. We're not out trying to get statistics. We are out trying to be Jesus Christ with skin on, because he is the only one that can make the real difference.
Pastor Dave McDonald, Faith Community Church, north on 8th in Red Oak, up at the top of the hill on the west side of 8th Street there at Ratliff and 8th. What else would you like to say in conclusion this morning, Pastor?
Well, hope you come. We still have an exciting August with lots of things going on. We're already starting to rumble toward what's going to be an exciting Christmas program. We are really getting enthused about that. We're going to go down to our Family Life Center. It looks like, it's the early plans anyways, and completely redo that. And for the first time ever, do a program down there where we can stage it in a way like we never have before. So that's kind of in the rumbles. They're just neat things down the road. I can't wait to tell you about it as I get a little closer. But the bottom line is, I love being here. I love Red Oak. I love people like you that make a difference in this community. I just had a young man who I'd mentored 10 years ago show up with his wife and child, spent the night with us Saturday and Sunday night, and he's looking around the town saying, wow, this town is doing better. And it's in a time when there's recession. This town's exciting. And I thought, yep, this is a good town to live in. This is a good place.
What's your shorter than it used to be sermon this Sunday going to be about?
I'm talking about brave faith. And if you pick up a copy of our bulletin, on the cover is a picture of the cowardly lion. And I'm just going to remind us that every time God wanted to use someone, he reminded them, be strong and courageous. And I think we misunderstand courage. And we think courage means I have to have skill and I have to be daring. And all courage means is where you find your encouragement from, and our encouragement comes from God. So we can all be brave.
Very good. Thanks again to you and your entire organization, family, church members, volunteers, caring, compassionate people for a wonderful job with Vacation Bible School and with Challenge and with truly caring about people, not just young people, but caring about people. You've got a program for older people.
Yes, we do. We have a fantastic primetime ministry run by Don Halacki, who's also a chaplain in Stanton, serves at the nursing homes, is just a sweetheart of a man. And so we do something with the primetimers. I told my primetimers 2 Sundays ago, I looked at them and said, you are the key to the future of our church. I said, I know we think the young people are the future. I said, you're the future, because your attitude shapes the church today. And I have fantastic older saints who probably don't hear music that would be their first choice, and they're clapping right along and smiling because they learned a long time ago church has never been about me. We cannot compromise the message ever. Well, we can change different vehicles getting the message out. Nothing gets hurt.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thanks for loving the Lord and letting him serve through you, and for the lives that are being positively impacted.
My honor, Jerry. I've got a retirement plan that is out of this world.
Good to see you. Make it a good day.
You too. God bless you.
I owe you money, huh?
Yes, you do. In fact, I've got a couple burly gentlemen outside waiting. So
I see.
one named Bruno, one named Horace.
I see. All right.
Thanks, Jerry.